Hello and welcome to the JAT Channel exclusive show, Clone Wars Conversations. I'm your host, James Arnold Taylor, also known as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, here I sit down and talk candidly with my co-stars of the hit animated show, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And today's conversation rejoins us with the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker, who is voiced to perfection by the very talented and devastatingly handsome film and television star Matt Lanter. This is the second half of our two-part interview, and in it, Matt shares more insight into how he played one of the most well-known characters of all time, without overthinking it, and just letting Anakin develop on his own through the 6 seasons of the Clone Wars. In my opinion, he embodied all the good in Anakin Skywalker, and only when necessary hinted at the dark times that would come after the Clone Wars. Welcome to the conversation. We talked a little bit about the Mortis arc, putting our spin on those moments, but the Citadel arc, do you remember the Citadel?
Remind me of which one that was.
The Citadel is, of course, we have to go in and bust into this impenetrable prison.
Azkaban.
Yeah, and Ahsoka kind of sneaks on, you know,
right.
She's not supposed to be there and all, but also seeing things like the rise of Clovis. We had some really powerful moments. You had some powerful moments with Padme.
Yeah.
But then also with Obi-Wan, there's that, it was kind of like finally we get to have that conversation when Anakin and Obi-Wan sit down, and I think it's in Anakin's chambers, or is it Obi-Wan's? I think it's
Anakin's, because I remember there was a big to-do about the poster on the wall.
Oh, is
in
that right?
Anakin's chamber. Wasn't it, what's his name? The football-shaped character, the Kyle Newman.
Oh, yeah. Ben
Quadrineros.
Ben Quadrineros.
There's a poster of him on the wall.
I'm going to get Kyle and Jamie in here for a conversation. We'll have to talk about this, get their thoughts on that. But that was a wonderful moment because we got to kind of do something that, again, didn't happen in the movies.
Right.
And it was in our versions of these characters' voices. And it was something I think that everybody kind of wanted to see.
Yeah, I think that's a huge kind of piece of the puzzle that people always wanted to... What happened? Did he tell him? Did he know?
Did he know? Yeah. And I played it as though I knew.
Yeah.
And you played it as though I knew, I think, too, is how I felt.
Yeah, it's one of those like fun Star Wars arguments, you know, because they spent so much time together, and obviously Obi-Wan is such a sensitive guy, you know, both with the Force and also just emotionally feels sensitive to things around him. He would have to, right?
The balance, and the way I kind of played it was always this balance of, he's like a big brother, but he's also like a father.
Yeah, kind of letting Anakin handle that.
Yeah, but he's also the confused child that goes, oh man, am I doing this right, or am I screwing this guy up? And Yoda's
probably
really,
as most fathers feel too. You know, at the time, you probably could, am I screwing this up?
That's what I say on a daily basis. We talked a bit about this on Rebel Force Radio last night, the Lost One. It's the episode with Finding Sifo Dyas. The thing I liked about it was we recorded these ones before, so we went on, Anakin and Obi-Wan go on this mission to kind of track down what happened to Sifo Dyas and all. And I was always pushing Dave Filoni to do a Butch Cassidy Sundance kind of one, and it was close to that, but then we got to Utapau. Now these Utapau arc, this storyline, we recorded these before we knew the show was canceled. And it was going to be part of season 7. It was great because it was really kind of that Butch and Sundance going on this thing, but also Ahsoka's gone. And then we had these wonderful moments where you're like, you know, oh, well, call Ahsoka, you know, and then there was all of that. There was so much there because it was, I see now I'm getting choked up because these were the last moments that I had recording the show, and it was you and I there. We had James Hong there as well, who's this famous character actor who was doing this character, and he was a crack up.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know, do you have any memories of us being in there last, doing any of that stuff at all?
Yeah, I do. I don't like specifically remember the lines and...
Yeah, not the dialogue,
no, of course, but I remember the feeling of it, the feeling of like, it's winding down.
Yeah.
You know, Ahsoka's gone.
Where are they going to go? Either we're going to go someplace else and we're going to get 12 more seasons out of this, or they're going to wrap it up, you know?
Yeah, but it had a weird like thing about it. Like, what's happening? Things are changing here. And,
Yeah, there
you know,
was.
I don't know. Of course, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes. There might have been
No.
talks happening at that point. We don't really know, but
I don't know either, but it certainly was fun, and it leads me to, you weren't just Anakin. You know, people think about, oh, this voice of yours is so kind of iconic now for this character, but you got to do a lot of other. I have a whole list of characters.
do you? I've never actually even been
Oh
through
my gosh,
them, like
Lom Pike,
Yeah.
Almec Scout, Bounty Hunter number 2, Citizen,
Pirates.
yeah, Clutch,
Clutch. Who was Clutch?
Death Watch Soldier number 2. Droid.
Number 1.
Gungan Soldier number 2. You were actually number 2 a lot. I'm guessing I was number 1.
Well, I'm never number 1 next to James and D.
Jiro or Euro, lead
I
deputy.
think we pronounce that Hiro.
Hiro. I think you're probably right because it's a yeah. Mandalorian Guard,
Oh, yeah.
Mon Cala Soldier, number 2.
Number 2.
Nemoidian Guard, Okalin, Pablo. You played Pablo Hidalgo. I think you played Pablo Hidalgo.
That's right. That's right.
Prisoner, Ratter, Secret Service Officer, Senator, TV-94,
A droid, evidently.
or a channel, Tactical Droid, Thug number 1.
Oh, yeah.
See, in the thugs, you're number 1.
I'm real good at the thugs.
Tagruta, Tukti, Witness, number 2.
Is the Muck Muck Monkey in there?
I was about to
Okay, all
say,
right.
and my all-time favorite Matt Lanter character in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, even above Anakin, the Muck Muck Monkey. We were all in the studio that day. It was everybody. I think T.C. Carson was there, Mace Windu, Ashley, myself, Dee, probably Corey Burton, legendary Corey Burton,
yeah.
Phil Lamar, Clancy Brown, and you're the Muck Muck
Embarrassing
Monkey.
myself as a Muck Muck Monkey.
This is the thing I love about you as an actor, Matt, and you mentioned it earlier, is being a goof or being that ability to kind of put yourself out there, is that you're playing not only the most kind of heroic guy,
Yeah.
your image and such is that, and you're like the first guy to go, I want to be the Muck Muck Monkey.
Totally. I would like, yeah.
And because Dave threw it out there, okay, and the obvious choice would be D. Bradley Baker.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, no, we're gonna have Anakin do this.
Yeah. Dave, you know, it was great. Dave trusted me with a lot of these like little auxiliary characters, and when we had, you know, you guys and your talents, and you know, you could change from a number 1 to a number 2 like that, and so could Dee, and you know, it didn't have to give me this stuff, but I think it was fun. I think it was entertaining for Dave as well.
Absolutely.
But it was, yeah, it's fun for me to be able to do that stuff.
And I don't think most people know that.
Probably not. Yeah.
I don't. I listened to it, and I remember us being in the studio listening and going, "Yeah, I'm not hearing Matt in that."
Right.
Because sometimes it can be, you know,
Sure.
Fred Flintstone, Alan Reed, the original voice of Fred Flintstone. I've been the third Fred Flintstone, but the original was a guy whose voice was that.
Yeah.
And he'd always want to do other characters, and go, Alan.
Yeah.
You can't. That was never the case with you as Anakin, and I thought that was wonderful.
Well, and I think that you know, also Anakin being one of these central characters, it's I couldn't really do a lot of the unless I were to change my voice a lot.
We did some accents and stuff too, and you play with accents.
Yeah, but
And textures.
yeah.
And stuff, so it was fun. Yeah. And LA Studios is where we went.
home.
Have you been in much lately there, or has it been a while since you've been there?
It's been a while since I've been to that LA Studios. I've done a lot of recording over in Burbank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, this is kind of a powerful question. We touched on it a little. I remember where I was when I got the news that the show was canceled, and got the call from Dave Filoni and Carrie Silver, which was great that they called. Do you remember that conversation or finding out about that?
I don't really know if I remember that.
Yeah. You've blocked it.
I've blocked it. Well,
It's probably better.
you know, now did we find out that Disney had bought everything That was
First.
prior?
We knew that.
So I think there were some things that were kind of like, okay, things are changing a little bit here.
One of the last things we did together as a kind of a Clone Wars family was a USO tour to Miramar out in San Diego.
Yeah.
And we showed some episodes, and we were all together, and we were all kind of talking about, well, do we think we'll get picked up again, and do we know? And then I went and did a USO tour to Japan. And I was coming back and I was at LAX waiting for my luggage.
That's where you found
And the
out.
phone rang, and it was Carrie and Dave, and they told me, we didn't get picked up, we're not continuing.
You know, it's funny. I don't know why I don't, because it's such a huge thing. I don't know
Yeah.
why I don't, at this moment, recollect that specific call.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if we kind of, if I felt it or we knew it was sort of coming, and that's why
Yeah.
that one, it's not like a shocking.
the wonderful
know.
thing about it that leads us to my next segment here is about events. And you touched on this before too, is the show was one thing, but all the events,
Yeah.
from the cons, the Star Wars fan days, Star Wars celebrations, Star Wars weekends, the USO tours, all these things that we got to do because of this show.
Yeah, to me, that's one of the most special things about being a part of the Clone Wars is doing the events and getting to talk to the fans, and I mean that's where you really got a pulse of the fandom and the appreciation that they have, and as serious as fans are, and can be considered like just overly sensitive about things they like and don't like. They were always supportive of us as these characters, and and even if they didn't particularly love something, it was always in a respectful way. And Star Wars fans are the greatest, and to be a part of that family, I think of it as like I was never part of a fraternity, but I assume that's what it feels like to be a part of this fraternity or a brotherhood of people. I mean,
I think you're right. I think absolutely.
It's something that we all have in common, and like Jeep owners, like they're notorious for like waving at each other on the streets.
Oh, is that right?
I feel like that about like Star Wars fans. It's like Star Wars, I gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like
Absolutely.
I know what you're thinking.
And if you've got a Star Wars shirt on, I always get a kick out of it. I remember when we were in the height of Clone Wars, and I'm out at this restaurant, and these little kids came in wearing Clone Wars T-shirts.
Oh, so cool.
And I thought, if they only knew who was sitting here, and you just think, oh, I could blow someone's mind.
Yeah.
And then it leads me also to, so the show stopped. We stopped recording that, but we still got to voice the characters in video games. There were quite a few games that came in after the Clone Wars.
Yeah, there sure was. I mean, honestly, I've not dropped Anakin completely. I mean, they've
Rebels.
announced this, Rebels, Anakin. I've like you said, I've done several video games, and now Anakin's back in the Forces of Destiny.
That's a known.
It's a known thing, so I'm still doing Anakin. 10 years later.
That's great. Yeah, that is fantastic, and it's fantastic that we're still focused on Anakin, because I think in the world of Star Wars, Anakin is important as Darth Vader. You know what I mean? You can't just.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that this maybe is kind of obvious, but half of Darth Vader is Anakin and his story.
Yeah.
We have Darth Vader is Darth Vader because of Anakin.
Right.
And what happened to him. So to ignore that part of a character's history is to not understand that character. So
it's kind of cool. I don't know if I've ever really thought about it this way or put it this way, but you're the soul of Darth Vader. Anakin is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is what allows us to have, especially now looking back, and if you watch Return of the Jedi, you go, that's this guy.
Anakin is his chance for redemption through all of this most evil, dictator in the galaxy. Anakin is there, and we know that now because of his redemption, and so Anakin has never gone completely, I suppose. And I know that's a statement you could argue, and I've probably argued that myself, that Anakin's gone. But do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah. So, is there anything that you would want to say? I mean, obviously we say thank you all the time at these cons and stuff, but anything specific to the fans of Clone Wars specifically? Here's kind of the moment, and of course there's your camera. But if you wanted to say anything or memories or anything at all.
Clone Wars fans, are you going to put some music behind it?
I can if you want. What do you want?
Something nice and soft.
Okay, yeah, sure.
No. Really, it is thanks, but just thanks for believing in us since the beginning, and even those that didn't and then came on and started supporting.
Yeah.
I really think Star Wars is stronger because of you and because of your belief in the Clone Wars and your willingness to accept it. Just from me personally, as an actor that got to be a part of the Clone Wars and a part of the Star Wars family, thank you for the acceptance into the family and,
Right.
and for the continued support. You know, as Anakin and also now in my career outside of Star Wars. It's
Yeah,
pretty
which
cool.
is what we will talk about now.
Yeah, right.
So voiceover is always one of those kind of things that happens for you as an actor because you're naturally talented in it and you've got some other stuff that is going on in there. But you've done a little work on camera now. You're working on this very popular, very loved show called Timeless.
Yeah, it is loved. It's so loved that they brought us back from cancellation.
That's right.
The fans showed up, man. How cool is it that fans now, with the power of social media and Twitter, have literally saved a show from doom, you know, because of the power of your voice on your phone. And I just think it's so cool.
There was some fans have asked in the social media, speaking of social media, people asking me to ask you questions and that you got to make some Star Wars references.
A lot.
In Timeless,
A lot. Well, so Eric Kripke and Sean Ryan, they're the creators, the head writers. Eric Kripke is a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay.
And I reference Han Solo all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm doing Wyatt, I mean, very, very much. I'm taking things from Han Solo and Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Sure.
And, you know, they know it, and I'm doing it on purpose. And there are definitely some references. I've talked about the Force, and you know, it's a little hard to do it without like cracking a smile or something, you know, or a little wink, wink.
Yeah, a little wink. Yeah,
you know. But there's been a few, yeah.
Yeah,
And I love it when I have those, and I think fans love it too, because I've seen people tweet like, I love it when Wyatt says.
Absolutely,
you know.
they do. And when I watch it, I get a little then like, see, you did it. Because it's always wonderful to see your friends on something, but to see something that is special. I really have thought from the beginning that Timeless is a really special show.
Oh, thanks.
And it really harkens back to, we've talked about this a bit off camera, the Spielberg kind of feel, this Lucas Spielberg kind of days of my glory days as a kid in the 80s of these wonderful stories and shows, and you feel like this kind of Indiana Jones character.
Yeah, that's Eric and Sean have done an amazing job capturing the essence of this show as it's an adventure show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a historical adventure, more so than it is a sci-fi show.
Yeah.
And of course, it fits in that genre with the time travel, but more so than anything, we're trying to make a fun historical adventure that the family can watch.
Yeah.
That's on purpose, you know. We talk all the time about some of this Spielberg stuff that we're trying to like.
That's cool.
Get that feel in a little 1 hour show.
I mean, even from camera angles and shots that are reflective of that. Just for me as a fan of that, growing up with that E.T. kind of feel, or Close Encounters or Poltergeist feel, even.
And I think also to kind of add to that, time travel stuff can get very complicated and very headspacey and cerebral.
Yes.
And these guys who are in charge, they understand that, and I think they definitely want to keep it simple. To keep that fun adventure going and not get too, you know, because then it just folds in on itself.
But there's
so
also
hopefully,
some wonderful, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's some wonderful drama in it that you get to specifically play because of your wife and such. I don't want to give anything away for people that maybe haven't seen everything yet.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of character depth there. And again, my character's always dealing with wife issues. Always love.
Oh,
What's up with that?
You're just dreamy, my friend. So, hey, here's something, though. Speaking of voices, you and I got to work on The Force Awakens together, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
A day in the studio out at Fox Studios with you, and Kat and Tom Kane and Matthew Wood and Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Matt Wood, you know, we've been working with him for years and plays all the drones and does a lot of the sound and for many, many things.
Right.
So, you know, he called me up and said, "Hey, you want to come do this?" And it's, you know, it's a fun little like loop group thing for this new movie called The Force Awakens, and it was cool. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about NASA and knowing all the secrets. You know, we got to go in there and see this footage that the world was awaiting. We got to see this footage that no one else had seen yet. It's pretty cool.
Did it mess with you at all, though? Because it took, for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see this, I'm going to know. And
it didn't for me because, first of all, we recorded out of order.
Right.
So there was no story. It was hard to understand a story from what we saw. We saw bits and pieces, just what we needed to see.
Yeah.
It was black and white.
Yeah.
Had a huge stamp over the screen.
Yeah.
It was, the footage that we saw was just very much for a quick reference and what we need to know. It was a need-to-know basis, and they didn't do any more. So it didn't ruin anything for me.
Okay, good.
Did it for you? Did it ruin it?
But that's okay.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I'm just kidding. So now, the other thing is people might not know that you are quite the photographer. You are quite the tech camera nerd here.
I snap a photo or two, but I would definitely not call myself a photographer. Yeah, my wife runs a blog called AngelaLanter.com.
Okay.
Angela. It's a fashion, lifestyle, and makeup thing. She's got a YouTube channel as well. So I do all of her photos, with the exception of a few times when I'm not around or whatever. And I do her video, and I shoot and edit.
And it's great stuff. And on Instagram, these shots are beautiful.
Oh,
you
thanks.
really do great work.
Thanks.
So now, Angela has been doing this for quite some time, and she's really the expert in makeup and hair and design.
She is, yeah.
How did all that come about? Has she always been like that?
She's always been into hair and makeup and fashion. Angela was watching YouTube videos 8 years ago, before people were doing YouTube tutorials.
Right.
She was watching the few that were doing it. And when she was like 15, 16 years old, she was doing makeup in her aunt's beauty salon for people.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
So she's always been into that and wanted to go to beauty school, and I think maybe her parents wouldn't let her or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but she's always been into it. And this was a passion for her. So I got a job in New Orleans in 2013 on a series called Star Cross. We moved down there. We had just been married. Of course, we wanted to stay together, so she quit her job at Allstate. She was a fraud investigator.
Really?
Yeah, very serious job. And became a beauty blogger. And at the time, we were like, it'll be fun when I'm not shooting on set. I can have fun with my camera equipment, record, edit. It'll be fun and creative. Yeah, I mean, it was just something to kind of give her something to do and possibly, maybe one day make the same amount of money she was making at Allstate and kind of supplement that. And we were thinking, man, if we could do that, that'd be incredible. And cut to 4 years later, and her business is booming.
That's great.
She's,
So it's AngelaLanter.com.
AngelaLanter.com is her blog. Her YouTube videos also get embedded on her website.
And I will link them up somewhere in the top corner
Cool,
of this video as we're watching. There'll be a little thing people can click on.
Yeah. It's funny. We've actually talked to Tracy Canobio and also with Ashley about doing some sort of like Star Wars incorporation into some of like the beauty tutorials, things like that.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet, but it could one day. And
so if people are interested, they should say, do that.
Yeah,
yes.
totally. And it'd be fun. Occasionally she'll do some kind of costuming makeup. We have a lot of fun around Halloween time.
Oh man, I remember you guys showed me a video that was terrifying a few years ago where we were looking at all of this stuff and talking about all this. You both have been very gracious to me in this kind of experiment of me trying this YouTube stuff out, and you were very encouraging, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's we've gained a lot of knowledge and experience, and sometimes YouTube is a beast that you can't figure out, and we still can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a formula, but anything that we can do to kind of help, because there's a lot to learn, and just, man, if we had someone there with us kind of showing us the way, it would have been,
Well, it's all about the viral videos too,
That's
so to make this Clone Wars conversation a viral video, we like to do a little special stuff, have each guest read in their character.
Okay.
So this is our kind of talk show environment, but then we're going to go into the studio and get on some mics and give them, because there are no more Clone Wars to be made, one last chance to hear Obi-Wan and Anakin together. Okay. So I like to pull from literature or film, and I thought, Shakespeare we've done, and I thought about Shakespeare, but I remembered back to the fact that I think I mentioned this in our interview here. I always wanted Dave to do a Butch Cassidy Sundance kind of thing.
Okay.
So you and I will be reading the last scene, the final scene of the film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, when they are holed up in the little kind of hut there while the cavalry is coming, is about to
destroy them.
Destroy them, maybe, or maybe not.
Maybe not.
So we will be recreating the scene.
Who's Paul? You Paul or my Paul?
No, okay, now here's the funny thing.
I don't know what that was. Paul Newman doesn't talk like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but normally you would think Obi-Wan Kenobi should be Butch Cassidy and Anakin be the Sundance Kid.
Right.
But in reading the script in my study in preparation for this show, it's got to be reversed. You've
Okay.
got to be Butch Cassidy. So
Okay.
Anakin as Butch Cassidy.
Nice.
Obi-Wan Kenobi as the
Nice.
Sundance Kid.
Perfect.
For you now, a Star Wars Clone Wars Conversations special presentation.
I got a great idea where we should go next.
Well, I don't want to hear it.
Well, you'll change your mind once I tell you.
Oh, shut up.
Okay.
You know, it was your great idea that got us here.
Forget about it.
I never want to hear another of your great ideas, all right? Butch?
All right.
Good.
Australia. Well, I figured that, secretly you wanted to know, so I told you. Australia.
That's your great idea.
The latest in a long line.
Australia's no better than here.
That's all you know.
Well, name me one thing.
Well, they speak English in Australia.
They do?
That's right, smart guy. So we wouldn't be foreigners. And they ride horses.
Oh.
And they got thousands of miles to hide out in. In a good climate, nice beaches. You can learn to swim.
No, swimming and flying. No, not my thing. But that's not important. What about the banks?
Ooh. Easy, ripe, and luscious.
The banks or the women?
Well, once we get the one, we'll get the other, huh?
Yes, don't touch me. It's a long way, though, isn't it?
Everything has always got to be perfect with you.
Yes, Anakin, yes. I just don't want to get there and find out it's, stinky, that's all.
Okay, all right. Well, will you at least just think about it?
All right. I shall think about it.
Now, after we... Wait a minute.
What?
You didn't see Jabba out there, did you?
Jabba? No, maybe the Emperor, but...
Okay, good. Because for a minute there, I thought we were in trouble.
Shall we do this?
We shall. Ready, Master?
Ready, Anakin.
It's still here.
That's a wide shot. That's great. That was great. Perfect. Excellent. All right. That's great.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, before we conclude this episode of Clone Wars Conversations and the 2 parts with Matt Lanter, I don't know if you watched the last episode, but you would see that there was a time where Catherine Tabor crashed our party and came in and we talked some more. Well, we also shot some really fun stuff that day here at Jat Studios. Kat came in with all these scenes that she had rewritten from the prequels of Star Wars between Anakin and Padme, and they're kind of a parody of it. I'll let you watch them and see for yourself, but here is a stringing together of all the various scenes and fun stuff we did, and kind of a behind the scenes here at Clone Wars Conversations when more than one Clone Wars castmate joins us for a conversation and fun. Check it out.
Cat!
Matt! Oh my goodness, you've grown!
Oh my gosh, so have you.
More. Are you saying I'm fat?
What? No,
Maddie! You'll always be that sweet boy I met from Ohio. James is back there. I think he's trying to do his hair.
Again?
Yeah, could be a while. Do you want a snack?
No,
Well, that was weird.
Are you an Angel?
What?
Are you an Angels fan?
No, Braves. You?
Oh, Hank Aaron, 755 home runs.
You're a silly little boy. How do you know so much?
I was a bat boy.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Shaquille O'Neal? Is that what? Soccer? You guys were talking about soccer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
Shaquille
great.
O'Neal's
Yeah, he's good.
A
Yeah.
great soccer player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just...
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's But Good book.
Haven't read it.
Oh, yeah. Me neither.
I heard that.
Hey, James, do you have any fruit?
I don't know.
What do you need, Kat?
I'm looking for some fruit.
Fruit. You want a pear?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, thanks. It's good.
Yeah. I feel lost.
Lost?
Yeah. Yeah, James and the camera crew, they don't trust me. I think they started without me.
Of course they trust you. You're a professional.
No, something's happening. I'm not the actor I should be.
Insecure much? Oh, this book is heavy.
Oh, man.
Oh, Matt, ever since I met you, you've been playing with droids. Have fun.
What?
Oh, Maddie, you'll always be that sweet boy I met from Ohio.
I don't know how to end that, actually.
Is this reading weird? I could put a sweater on. Okay. There's no girls here to say your arm looks fat, put a sweater on.
No. Okay, and that's not the indicate.
Just flex as you're doing it. So you get the muscles going.
Okay.
You got speed.
Nut down! God, Matt.
Okay.
So unprofessional.
Same take. We're still rolling it. I heard that. Ow.
I have nowhere to go. Thank you.
Good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny if I get my hands.
So stupid.
I hope you've enjoyed this two-part interview with my very special guest, Matt Lanter, and that you would subscribe to the JAT channel if you haven't already. There's many other episodes of Clone Wars Conversations loaded right here, as well as vlogs like a day in the life of a voice actor, and more videos to entertain and hopefully inspire you. Thanks to Mountain Valley Water for supplying the perfect hydration to me and my guests here at the JAT channel. People do always ask me what I drink to keep a healthy voice, and truly, Mountain Valley Water is always at arm's reach for me. I'm happy to have them as the official water of the JAT channel. And I'm happy that you joined me here, and hope you would do it again for another Clone Wars Conversation.